Standing on the veranda of the seaside villa, I held my phone tightly. The screen lit up with the word Dad. Anger boiled inside me. "You went ahead and did whatever you wanted, didn't you?" I said, my voice shaking. On the other end, I heard my father, Aaron, sigh. "Jennifer, I thought you'd understand. Maria needs money. If we don't pay off the debt, well, family helps each other." I let out a bitter laugh. The same old excuse. I am Jennifer Aniston. My parents have always favored my younger sister, Maria. Even my earliest memories prove it. On my 6th birthday, I was thrilled to get the red bicycle I had dreamed of. But my joy was short-lived. Maria wanted it. "You're the big sister," my parents told me. "Let her have it." Just like that, my birthday gift became hers. The same thing happened when I started elementary school. I received a beautiful pencil case as a gift. Maria liked it, so I had to give it up. "Maria is still young," my mother said. "She wants what you have." It was always the same. When I asked to take swimming lessons, they immediately refused. "We're already paying for Maria's piano lessons," they said. Besides, she'd feel lonely if you went without her. Money was never an issue for Maria's activities: piano, ballet, painting. But for me, there was nothing. I wasn't allowed to do anything outside of school clubs. Even when I finished my homework and wanted to go out and play, I was told, "Help Maria with her studies." Both of my parents attended all of Maria's school events, but when it came to mine, they were always too busy with work. Even when I won first place in a race on sports day, no one noticed. Maria had fallen and was crying, so all the attention went to her. On an open school day, I gave a speech as class president. My parents didn't show up. They went to Maria's event instead. By the time I was elected class representative in 7th grade, I didn't even bother telling them. I already knew what they would say. But the moment I remember the most was in my 3rd year of high school. I worked so hard to get into my first-choice university, but my parents didn't seem to care. "Oh, that's nice," my mother said without much interest. "I'm more curious about Maria's mock test results." That evening at dinner, my mother cooked all of Maria's favorite dishes. It was supposed to be a celebration for me, but everything was about Maria. No one praised me for my hard work. No one shared in my happiness. For Christmas, Maria always got expensive gifts, while I got things like school supplies or clothes. Even when I needed money for travel expenses for my club competitions, my parents refused. "We need the money for Maria's piano lessons," they said. "Maria is sensitive. Maria is delicate." By the time I entered university, I had completely given up on my family. During that time, I met Adam in the windsurfing club. I was a freshman, a complete beginner, constantly struggling against the waves. Adam, on the other hand, was older and the club captain. On my first day of practice, I fell into the sea over and over again. I swallowed salty water, and my eyes burned so badly that I almost gave up. Then Adam reached out his hand to me. "Everyone starts like this," he said. I fell all day long when I was a freshman too. I can't explain how much those words meant to me. Until then, no one had ever been kind to me when I failed. One of my most unforgettable moments happened at the end of our training camp. At dusk, I was out in the water, still struggling with the waves. I hadn't been able to stand up even once that day, and this was my last chance. "Jennifer, the wind is shifting," Adam shouted from the shore. The moment I heard his voice, something clicked. I suddenly understood the wind's direction, the movement of the waves, and how my board felt beneath me. Before I knew it, I was standing on the waves. My teammates cheered, but all I saw was Adam's bright smile. "Don't tense up on the board," Adam told me gently. "Feel the waves and move with them." For some reason, those words touched my heart. No one had ever cared for me like that before. My parents only ever paid attention to Maria. "Jennifer, you've got talent," Adam said. "You have an amazing intuition for reading waves." It wasn't just his coaching that drew me in, it was his kindness, his warmth, and even the little playful expressions he made. A few months later, we started dating. After I graduated, Adam and I decided to turn our love for marine sports into a business. We started an import company. Everyone around us doubted us, especially my parents. They were completely against it. But we didn't give up. We worked hard to raise the money we needed to start our dream. I worked 4 part-time jobs while Adam borrowed money from his family. Our first office was a small apartment, a 45-minute walk from the nearest station. All of our furniture, desks, cabinets, and chairs, was secondhand. "This is our starting line," Adam said with a laugh. I laughed with him. Finding business partners was much harder than we expected. "You're too young. You have no experience." We got rejected over and over again. But we refused to give up. We attended marine sports tournaments, met athletes, and slowly built relationships. Over time, we started earning their trust. Our big break came when we met a small manufacturer in Italy. They had just started their business too, and wanted to expand into the USA market. Maybe they saw our passion because they agreed to give us an exclusive distributor contract. The night we signed that contract, we celebrated in our tiny office with a cheap bottle of sparkling wine and canned snacks. We talked about our future. Looking back, that was the real beginning of our journey. "How do you plan to survive with such an unstable business?" my father asked. "Maria is struggling, so you need to help the family," my mother said, still only thinking about her. My younger sister, Maria, had dropped out of university. She jumped from one part-time job to another and spent her time having fun. Every time she got into debt, my parents bailed her out. "She's just a poor child," they always said, making excuses for her. Meanwhile, they placed strict rules and high expectations on me. But Adam was different. He believed in my dreams. "If it's us, we can make it happen," he told me. Holding on to those words, we kept moving forward. One step at a time, our business grew. What started in a small warehouse became a recognized company in the industry. 6 years ago, we finally achieved our dream. We bought a vacation home. We found this house soon after we started searching. It sat on a hill, surrounded by trees, with an incredible view of the ocean. The moment we saw it, we knew. "This is the one," Adam said. I felt the same. My parents, of course, disapproved. "You don't need to spend so much money on something like this," they said. But their objection wasn't just about the house. They still hadn't accepted my work. I didn't care. This house was proof of the dream Adam and I built together. On our first night at the vacation home, we sat on the deck, looking up at the starry sky and listening to the sound of the waves. Adam held my hand. "Jennifer, let's grow old together here." Even now, those words warm my heart. But everything started falling apart with one phone call from my father. It was the morning of my second day back from a business trip to Southeast Asia. I was visiting the vacation home when my phone rang. "Jennifer, I need to talk to you," my father said. His voice sounded tense, like he was forcing himself to stay calm. "Did something happen?" I asked casually. At that moment, I had no idea that I was about to be dragged back into a harsh reality. "It's about your vacation home," my father began. Right away, I felt uneasy. "What about it?" "I've already sold it. The ownership transfer will happen next month." For a moment, I couldn't process his words. "Sold? Transfer? Our precious vacation home? What are you talking about?" My voice shook. "Maria is in trouble," he said. "She made a bad investment and now owes $400,000. His tone sounded like an excuse. "And what does that have to do with our vacation home?" My chest burned with anger. "Jennifer, I thought you'd understand. Maria needs money. If we don't help, the debt collectors—" "You went ahead and did whatever you wanted, didn't you?" I cut him off, my voice cold. My grip tightened on the balcony railing. "You barely even used the vacation home," my father argued. "Maria's life is at stake. Is a house you rarely visit more important than your sister's?" "That's Maria's problem," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "How did you even manage to sell it without our consent?" There was a short silence. Then my father admitted, "I already had your signatures. The documents were prepared beforehand. You forged them." My heart pounded as the truth sank in. "Jennifer, listen. Maria isn't at fault. She was tricked." "No. This is a crime," I said firmly. "Selling the house without permission is fraud." My father gasped on the other end of the line. "The police? Don't be ridiculous. How can you bring a family matter outside? No, this isn't just a family matter. This is a crime. I gripped the railing tighter. Dad, Mom, it's time you stopped cleaning up Maria's messes. I looked out at the vacation home, the place Adam and I had worked so hard for. It was where we dreamed, windsurfed, and stared at the stars, sharing our hopes for the future. Jennifer, we're family, aren't we? My father pleaded. Helping each other is what family does. I let out a deep sigh. Yes, we're family, I said, my voice firm. And that's why I have to report you and Mom for fraud. I ended the call. Only the sound of the waves remained. The salty breeze cooled my flushed cheeks. I couldn't believe my parents had sunk this low. Their twisted devotion to Maria had finally crossed the line. Maybe part of this was my fault for not stopping them sooner. But enough was enough. I slipped my phone into my pocket and went back inside the vacation home. An hour later, my phone rang again. This time, it was Adam. Jennifer, are you okay? Hearing his voice, I felt a little calmer. Yes, I just finished talking to my father. I got a call from the buyer, Adam said, his voice steady. Turns out, they're an old friend of mine from university. When I explained the situation, they understood immediately. The sale has been canceled. I let out a deep sigh of relief. At least that's one problem solved. Thank you, Adam. I also heard from the police, he added. They found the forged documents your parents used. His words made my chest tighten. How far were Mom and Dad willing to go? Adam arrived at the vacation home later that evening. Even though he was busy with work, he had come to check on me. Are you okay? He asked, his gentle voice bringing me comfort. Adam wrapped his arms around me, and the tears I had been holding back finally spilled over. Why? I whispered. Why would they do this? Do they really think they can do anything as long as it's for Maria? Adam stroked my hair softly. You've done nothing wrong, he said. In fact, I'm proud of you for standing your ground. His words sank deep into my heart. The next day, the police launched a full investigation. My parents were questioned for attempted fraud. My mother called me over and over again, but I didn't answer. A week passed. That evening, Adam and I sat on the deck of our vacation home, watching the sun set over the ocean. The sound of the waves crashing against the shore filled the air, bringing me a quiet sense of peace. I remember, Adam said softly. The day we found this place. I remembered too. The day we toured the property. We decided right away, this was the one. The house was old, but fixing it up became part of our memories. We painted the railings, replaced the floorboards, and renovated the kitchen. Every bit of work was done by the two of us. Sometimes we argued, but even those moments now feel precious. Adam squeezed my hand. Jennifer, we're in this together. Whatever challenges come, we'll face them as a team. I nodded. My relationship with my parents may never go back to the way it was. But that's okay. This is our life, our choices. And this seaside vacation home is proof of our love. Meanwhile, the police investigation continued. As things unfolded, more details about my parents' actions came to light. They had always known the vacation home belonged to both Adam and me, yet they tried to sell it anyway. The forgery was carefully planned. For 4 months, they prepared everything. First, they faked my signature. Then, they copied Adam's signature to make the sale look real. To the real estate agent, they lied. Our daughter and her partner are moving overseas and can't take care of the property, they said. But the most shocking thing was what my mother did next. She spread false rumors in the neighborhood. Jennifer and her husband are drowning in debt. We have no choice but to clean up their mess. She was willing to destroy my reputation just to protect Maria. During police questioning, my mother broke down. Maria got caught in a scam, she admitted. At first, it was only $20,000. But before we knew it, it had grown to $400,000. My parents drained their savings and even sold land to cover the debt. But it still wasn't enough. So, they tried to sell our vacation home to make up the difference. Even then, my mother still defended Maria. Maria isn't to blame, she insisted. She was tricked. She's not as smart as Jennifer. It was said that even the police officer questioning her was speechless. My emotions were complicated. I couldn't believe my own parents had done this. Then one day, Maria called me. "How could you do this, sis?" she demanded. "Turning our parents over to the police is cruel." Even now, she saw herself as the victim. I answered calmly. "Maria, do you understand? They tried to sell the vacation home Adam and I love, just to pay for your mistakes. That's a crime. But we're family, aren't we? I'm really struggling here." I took a deep breath. "It's time you started taking responsibility for your actions. I'm done cleaning up after you." After hanging up, I felt completely exhausted. Since childhood, Maria had been spoiled, while I studied hard and worked responsibly. Maria, on the other hand, lived carelessly. Every time she messed up, our parents bailed her out. I lost count of how many times she got into debt. It started in her first year of college. At first, it was just $6,000 from a loan company. Her reason? I wanted to go shopping for luxury brands with my friends. Instead of scolding her, my parents made excuses. "She's just a young girl. It can't be helped," they said. Then, they paid off the debt immediately. 3 months later, we found out she had misused her tuition money. She spent it on trips with friends and new clothes. This time, my father took $60,000 from his savings to cover it. "Maria lacks life experience," they said. "It's normal that she doesn't understand money." Instead of teaching her a lesson, they defended her again. In her 3rd year, Maria suddenly announced that she was dropping out of college. Her reason? "I can't keep up with the classes." Soon after, she started working part-time at a restaurant. That's where she met a customer she started dating. Eventually, he introduced her to an investment scheme, and she lost $76,000. When I confronted her, she glared at me. "You wouldn't understand, Jennifer, because you're so smart," she snapped. "He's the only one I have." My parents begged her to break up with him. Somehow, they convinced her, but once again, they paid off her debt. By then, their retirement savings were nearly gone. And now, after getting tricked again by another fraudulent investment scheme, Maria owed $400,000. But this time, my parents had no money left. So, they tried to sell our vacation home to pay off her debt. "You spoiled her too much," I had always told my parents. But my mother would just shake her head. "Maria is fragile. We have to protect her." But their endless devotion to Maria wasn't helping her, it was destroying her. She had no sense of responsibility. She kept making the same mistakes over and over again, always insisting, "I'm the victim." When I decided to start my own business, my parents were strongly against it. "You should just find a stable job," they said. "You need to take care of Maria, too." But by then, I had already broken free. With Adam as my partner and supporter, I had started walking my own path. And yet, my parents still tried to take away the place that meant so much to us. I knew the total debt had grown beyond $800,000. Every time my parents defended Maria, they said the same things. "She's not at fault. Society is just too harsh. Jennifer, you're lucky, so you should help." Now, those words felt like a cruel joke. In the end, they ruined Maria's life by spoiling her. And now they had almost destroyed ours too. "Maybe they never really accepted what we do for a living," Adam said seriously. He was right. Selling our vacation home was just another sign that they never understood our choices. Maybe that's why they could so easily throw away something we cherished. "But that's their problem," I said firmly. "Our bond is something no one can break." Adam smiled gently. That smile always gave me strength. We had our own path, and the memories we created in this vacation home were proof of that. As autumn deepened, the sea grew rougher. Adam and I sat close together on the deck, watching the sunset over the ocean. My relationship with my parents and Maria would never go back to how it was. But that was my choice. When winter arrived, so did the final report from the police. My parents were prosecuted and received a suspended sentence. They sent me apology letters, but I threw them away without reading them. I had learned an important lesson. Sometimes forgiving only allows people to keep doing the same wrong things. A year has passed. According to a neighbor who spoke to one of my mother's friends, my parents are still struggling to repay their debts. After the fraudulent sale of the vacation home was exposed, my father had to resign from his job. My mother now juggles 4 part-time jobs. Early mornings in a warehouse. Day shifts packing food at a factory. Night shifts at an 18-hour supermarket. One day, I overheard a housewife gossiping near the supermarket register where my mother worked. The Anistons are having a tough time. She's lost so much weight. Their family home had already been sold, and now my parents and Maria lived in a tiny apartment on the outskirts of town. Their retirement savings were gone. They had even borrowed more money to pay off Maria's debts. Relatives started calling me. "Jennifer, can't you help your parents?" Every time I gave the same answer. They have to solve their problems on their own. Maria hadn't changed. She met a man at a nightclub and was now talking about another investment scheme. "This time it's foolproof," she said. "I'm definitely going to make money." When my parents tried to stop her, Maria lashed out. "I'm struggling, and you're acting so cold-hearted, just like Jennifer." Maria cried. "Just help me." But my parents couldn't support her anymore. They were barely managing to make their monthly payments. My father had taken a night security job, working every weekend without a break. My mother spent her days searching supermarkets for discounted food. "She can't afford to be picky," the neighbors said. One night, someone saw her crying alone by the roadside. Maria, angry that my parents had abandoned her, turned all her frustration toward me. "This is all your fault, sis," she screamed. "Reporting them to the police ruined everything. We could have fixed it all just by selling that stupid vacation home." One day, I ran into my mother at the supermarket. She looked like a different person. Her hair had turned white, and her back was hunched. When she saw me, she quickly turned away and walked off. Her shopping basket was filled with soon-to-expire, discounted food. Meanwhile, my father collapsed during his late-night shift. The doctor said it was from overwork, but he went back to work immediately. He knew that if they missed even one payment, the debt collectors would start calling again. At the end of the year, I received an email from Maria. "Jennifer, lend me $100,000. I promise I can turn everything around." She had maxed out her loans. Her credit cards were blocked. She had no one left to borrow from, not friends, not acquaintances. Now she had come to me for help. I didn't reply. Instead, I sent my parents information on debt relief and counseling services. That was all I could do for them now. Why didn't we realize what was happening before it got this bad? The words of my mother's friend echoed in my heart. But this was the path my parents had chosen. Their blind devotion to Maria had destroyed our entire family. I let out a deep sigh as I gazed out at the ocean. That night, Adam came up behind me and gently wrapped his arms around my shoulders. "You're not at fault," he said softly. I nodded. I had made the right choice. It was painful, but it had to be done. "I've been thinking," Adam said, his face serious. "What if we use this vacation home for charity events?" "Charity?" I asked. "Yes. Let's give underprivileged kids a chance to experience marine sports." I was deeply touched by Adam's idea. Having experienced loneliness and being misunderstood by my own family, I wanted to support children who felt the same. "That's a wonderful idea," I said. Adam smiled and continued, "Your parents saw this place as just a piece of property. But to us, it's a place of dreams. If we can share that dream with others, it will mean even more." I reached for his hand. Adam had always understood the deepest parts of my heart. "Let's do it," I said with determination. We changed into our wetsuits and headed for the ocean. As I rode the waves, I felt pure happiness. Yes, my relationship with my biological family was gone. But I had chosen my own path, and that choice was not a mistake. Listening to the sound of the waves, Adam and I looked toward the future. This vacation home would continue to hold our dreams, and now it would also become a place of hope for others pursuing their own dreams.